Take 2. Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Caspian. I read a lot of books, and this is my video for March, my TBR of March. So for March, there's a slight change for me. If you follow me, or if you're new or not, you might know that I mainly read books from the library. I'm a bit of a library rat. So, but I do have books of my own. And first of all, the reason I need to read books from my own library, my home library, my own shelves in March is because in March I'm having surgery, and this will prevent me from being able to go to the library so I have surgery on March 6th, and for the next 3 or 4 weeks after that I won't be able to go to the library because I won't be able to carry that much. And there's also the problem with that we won't have an elevator in our apartment complex. We live in an apartment complex on the 5th floor and just because things are, like the universe is screwing with me. No, but seriously, we won't have an elevator because they are changing our elevator. They are upgrading our elevator to new standards. So for 4 weeks in March, all of March, we will have to use the stairs, and that's not preferable when you are just out of surgery. So, but I will have to manage. So I will get home, but then I will have to stay home for a period of time, probably. So I won't be able to go to the library so much. So I might or might not, but I have prepared for the not. Even so, with that said, I have 3 library books at home. So this is my library. This is my TBR card for March. An assortment of books that I might want to read from my own home library. There are 2 books from the library, the Stockholm library here, and then I have one by my side that I am currently reading. And so I'm just gonna go through my assortment and tell you a little bit about them, what I might read in March. Hopefully I will read a lot of these. I'm sure I won't read all of them because there are 12 of them, but I look forward to each and every one of them if that is what I want, because I'm gonna mood read, and for 1 week, for a few days after my surgery, I might not want to read at all, or I might want to read a lot. I don't know. I haven't had surgery since I was like a teenager. So the first book is this one that I'm currently reading. This is a romance. This is the second book in the Addicted series by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is called Ricochet, and in the Addicted series we follow Lauren, that's the male main character, and then the female main character Lily Calloway, and they are both addicts. And so in the first book they are best friends, they are addicts, they are pretending to be in a relationship because then they can be codependent as much as they want, and they can help each other hide their addictions. So it's a very interesting book. The first one is very interesting, and this is the second book in the series. There are 10 books all in all, because it's like interwoven with the series about the Calloway sisters, Lily and her sisters. And there is an order of like recommended reading order in the beginning of the book. So hopefully I will be able to read all of these from the library, because I did enjoy the first one enough to want to read the whole series, hopefully, but not enough that I want to buy it and read it again. So I don't want to buy. I hope I will not have to buy any of the books in this series. So hopefully I will be able to read as many of them as possible, and hope that all 10 of them have reached Sweden by the time I get to each and every one of them. So this is the first one. So I have an assortment of books and genres and all, but they're all genres that I know that I like. So this is the second book from the library. And so the library books are due at the end of March, and none of them are on there's no one waiting for them after me, so I should be able to extend my loan if I need to. And this is a book that I call Feel Good. Feel Good is like literary fiction with a like cozy feeling to it. This is Jenny Colgan's book, and it's a Jenny Colgan book. It's the first book in a series that is now available in Swedish finally. So the English title of this is Class, Class, and the Swedish title is much longer. The Swedish title is actually translated into The Little School on the Cliff. So, but the English title is Class. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's about a boarding school. So it says it's wonderfully sunny when the school year starts at the boarding school of Downey House. Maggie, the new teacher at the school, is determined to bring hope and faith to her students. But will her commitment to the school have bad impact? Is that a word? On her safe, reliable, and quite boring partner Stan and the relationship to him. It won't be easier when she meets David MacDonald, the teacher of the boys' boarding school that is on the other side of the hill. So, in these books, in Jenny Colgan's books, there's almost always like a love interest that is not really. So the main character falls first, and then they like long for this other person a lot, and then they finally come together. It's a slow-paced romance kind of thing, but I really enjoy like the vibes of the books and the atmosphere and the vibes and the community feeling of all of her books. So I actually have a lot of her books on my shelf and I reread them from yearly. So I'm looking forward to this one. Feel Good might be exactly what I need after my surgery. So the next one from the library is Julia Rampljus, is the third book in the Ulltunasviten. This is only available in Swedish. So this is a historical novel with a hint of romance, and there's almost always a hint of queer in them. In the first book, there's a queer couple that is not the main character, but the main character was disabled. But she had a queer friend, and that relationship was like developing on the side. In the second book, the main character was queer, but he struggled with it, and it was like the 18th century, so you can imagine how hard that was. And then in this book, I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about, because I thought that they had like a common denominator somewhere, but they haven't had that yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. This is the third and last book in that Swedish series. And the only thing that they have in common so far that I have noticed is that they all take place in a small village area in Sweden called Ulltuna, which has given the series its name. So I hope that there are more after this. I hope it's not just... No, it says it's the third standalone and finishing part of the Ulltunasviten. Okay. So there won't be any more. So, but I look forward to it, even though it might be a bit Christmassy, because all of those books are Christmassy. So we'll see. I might, if I don't get to it, and if the weather changes and becomes like springtime here, I might return it unread and have it on my TBR for December or something like that. But I do like the vibes of those books, and they have always been a bit gothic also in the feeling, in the ambiance. So now we get into a bunch of my own books. So when it comes to my books, I have books on my shelves in 3 categories. The first one is books that I have loved. That's 2 words in one. Read and loved, and therefore bought them. So those are read. And then the second category on my own shelves are books that I have maybe read the first in a series, loved that, and then bought the entire series. or it's maybe an author by author for me. So I might have books that I haven't read yet, but I anticipate on loving. And then the third and final category is thrifted books that have been really cheap, like we use Swedish crowns in Sweden. So about 10 to 20 Swedish crowns, which is about 1 to 2 euros. So that's kind of what they, go for. So on my TBR, I have 5 books from the, no, I have 4 books from the thrift store that I don't know if I'm gonna like, but I hope I will. And then I have 3 books from authors that I have enjoyed before, that are standalones or a part of a series. And then I have 2 books from new to me authors, but that I hope that I will love. So the first one is the 5th book in the Bridgerton series. And if you have followed me or have seen me talk about the Bridgerton series before, I want to read all of these books, 8 of them, before I watch the Netflix series. I haven't watched it yet, and I have come this far. I have read 4 of them. This is the 5th one. I'm reading them in Swedish, and this is, I think, the original title is something like To Sir Phillip with Love or something like that, right? Where is the page? To Sir Phillip with Love. So so this is the 5th book. I'm looking forward to this one. I would love to annotate it, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to, depending on how I fare after the surgery. But I'm sure I'm gonna get to it. So that's a historical romance. So far we have romance, friends to lovers, and then we have a feel good, and then we have 2 historical novels / historical romances. And now we get into a book that is only available in Swedish. This is an author that I've heard many things about. There are 4 books in the series. And the series is about a guy named Göran and an Indian guy that is called Yogi. And he's not a yogi. He's not a person that does yoga or teaches yoga, but I thought he was, but he isn't. His name is Yogendra Singh Thakur. I hope I don't butcher that. So this is what it says. This is the first book out of 4, and I own 3. So if I like this and I want to continue straight away, I can. So Göran Borg, the male main character, his life is no party. He has a boring job. He hardly sees his adult children. He always thinks about his ex-wife, Mia. When Göran is fired, he is lured away on a charter trip to India that ends up with him having a stomach flu or a stomach bug in a shabby hotel room. But all of a sudden the door knocks and in comes Yogendra Singh Thakur, also called Yogi. He's an Indian fabric exporter, is that the word? And he is living his best life, if he can say so himself. Yogi takes Göran on an outer and inner journey to the chaotic main capital of India called New Delhi, where he meets the wonderful and beautiful Priti Malhotra that has a beauty salon. It's just one problem: she's already married. And this is the first part of the series about these 2 people, and it says that it's written with humor, warmth, and love for India. And it's a series that is loved both in Sweden and abroad. I don't know the English title of this. The Swedish title is Delis vackraste händer. I don't know why I do this when I talk Swedish, but Delis vackraste händer, and it translates into the beautiful hands of Delhi. So I don't know if anyone knows what this book is called in the first book by Mikael Bergstrand, If you know what this is called in English, please write that in a comment, and I would be forever grateful. I can look it up and see what the other ones are called, and I will know for when I talk about it when I tell you about it later. The next one is also thrifted. This is The Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. And this is a book that have been on my radar for, I don't know, 20 years. I'm sorry. And my dad's book club loves this, I think. It's quite short, so which is good, because that will probably mean I will read it. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think you know what this is. MMA, is that mama? Or madame? I don't know. Ramotse is not any woman. She's Botswana's first female private detective. She's actually Botswana's first detective. Period. Precious Ramotse's methods is a tad unconventional, but with wisdom, common sense, and an amazing ability to get people to open up, she helps regular people with their troubles. Unfaithful husbands, I think, missing children, false fathers, and stolen cars. Nothing is too big or too small for MMA, Madama, I don't know. What is the word? Ramotswe. So her name is Precious Ramotswe. Precious is her first name. Okay, this is the first book in the series. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I have another book. This is a book that this is thrifted. Right? I think it's thrifted, this one. So this is a book that I heard a lot about when I first started watching YouTube more consistently. This is by Sarah Penner, and it's The Lost Apothecary, but it's the Swedish version of it, the Swedish translation. So in this book it says a hidden story, a secret female network or women's network, a heritage of poison and revenge. Nella runs a secluded and a bit strange apothecary in 1719's London. In secret, she helps women to poison the men that treat them badly. Nella has only 2 rules that needs to be followed. The poison may not be used against other women, and everything needs to be kept written down in her books at the apothecary. So it says, in present day, the historian Caroline Parswell, by coincidence, find a clue to the 200-year-old story. Who was really the infamous poison maker? So Giftmakerskan is poison maker, and so that's like the word they're using, but I don't know what the English word would be. Did she have any accomplices, and who? Caroline starts to dig in the past, and piece by piece the mystery thickens. Okay, so I thought this was like only set in the past, but apparently it's also set in present day, and I kind of like that. I usually like books with 2 timelines that go together. If when they meet, they really meet in a good way. So the next book is a Swedish crime detective novel, and this is the 4th book in a series, but it's standalone, and they are all about this detective called Emma Sköld. And in this book, she wakes up in a coma, in a hospital, in a coma after 5 years. The last thing she remembers is that she left her 4-week-old daughter to go to the stables to go horseback riding. During her absence, her partner's former girlfriend has taken on the role as the new mother. Something that she is way too comfortable with. This is horrible. Emma is intensely trying to bring forth the memories of the accident, and becomes more and more convinced that a crime has been committed. But who would want to do her harm? As long as she is in intensive care, she is safe. But as soon as they move her to Department 73, anyone can get close to her. So it's like a department at the hospital that has given the book its title. It's by Sofie Sarenbrant. And there are so many books by her, and I would love to read more if I like this one. When it comes to Swedish detective novels, it mainly comes down to the writing style for me. Sometimes the characters, but Swedish books tend to have like a type, like the characters are, yeah. I think I do like the concept of the Swedish detective novel, so hopefully I will like that as well. The last time I DNF'd a detective novel that wasn't English, it was an Icelandic one. So so I have 4 books left. This one is the first one in a series. This one is not thrifted. This is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. It's the first of 3, I think. So I actually borrowed this from the library, read 100 pages, loved it. And I was like, I can't read another page if I can't do 2 things. Read out loud to myself at my own pace, which will take a long time. Because it's like a fairy tale-esque kind of story. It's like a bedtime story. I loved it. And then 2, I want to annotate it. See? I transferred my tabs to this book. They're blue because the library book was blue. It was a hardback. This is a paperback, so I will probably change this at some point. Or I will go with the blue to the pink, I don't know. But anyway, so this is one that I might not get to in March. It depends on how I am faring after the surgery. Because as I said, I want to read it out loud for myself. I don't know why. I just want to read it out loud. So I actually did. I read like 100 pages out loud to myself. I sat here in my couch and I just read out loud, and it was wonderful. I felt like I was a child again. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I had the opportunity to buy all 3 at once. So if I love this, which I hope I do, I hope it's as good as the first 100 pages. Then I have the other ones if I want to continue on, or when I want to continue on. And this one is the second book in a duology. The first one is by Aidan Thomas. It's called Celestial Monsters. And the first one was the Sunbearer Trials. And that book was my best book of 2024. I think there were a lot of books that could have been the best book of 2024 for me. But the Sunbearer Trials, it represents something that I didn't have growing up. I could really see myself in Theo, the main character, and I wish I had that when I grew up. So it was like both sentimental and nostalgic, but new to me, and I just enjoyed it so much. And I enjoyed the community and the representation as much as I enjoyed the story and the fantasy story. And this is the other book in the duology. So I had the opportunity to buy both of these. It was like to buy both for this price or whatever. But I had the opportunity to buy both of them at the same time, so I did. And I annotated the first one just with tabs, and I want to do the same with this one, and then I probably will reread them. I'm so sure I'm gonna love this. The only thing I don't love is that this is what it looks like. I think it must have looked like this when I unpacked it. Did I buy this in the store? No, I think I bought this online. So I must have just missed that when I unpacked it, because I unpacked it, put it straight in my cabin because I wasn't gonna read it at once at that time. So yeah. And then there are 2 more books. This is a heavy one. No, it's not that heavy. So this is a book in the Crowns of Nyaxia universe by Carissa Broadbent. The Shadowborn Duet Book 1. This is called The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, and I have read 3 books in the Nyaxia universe so far. I have read why don't I remember? Anyway, so this is vampires. Okay, this is vampires. I don't really know much about this, but it was my most anticipated book of 2024, the second half of 2024, together with the novella by the same author that was a part of the other duology. So it was like book 1 and 2 of that duology, and then there was like a 1.5 that was like a spin-off novella of that was about 2 of the side characters and how they met and their story, and I loved all of those books. This one I haven't gotten to yet. This is a bit thicker. This is because the other one was like 180 pages something. This is 430 pages, around there. So let's see what it's about. How exciting, she said. The songbird has talents, but what a price she would pay for them. Mishay, and she was in the first duology that I read. Mishay lost everything when she forcibly turned into a vampire. Her home, her humanity, and most devastating of all, the love of the sun god to whom she had devoted her life. Yeah. Because the other in the Nyaxia universe, the vampires are devoted to the moon goddess. So she lost the love of the sun god to whom she had devoted her life. Now sentenced to death for murdering the vampire prince who turned her, redemption feels impossible. When Misha is saved by Azar, the bastard prince of the House of Shadow, with a brutal past, she is forced into a mission worse than execution. A journey to the underworld to resurrect the god of death himself. But Misha is offered a chance at salvation by her sun god. All she has to do is betray Azar and kill the god of death. Oh no. In the underworld, Misha and Azar must face treacherous trials, colossal beasts, and the vengeful ghosts of their past. But most dangerous of all is the alluring call of the darkness and Misha's forbidden attraction to Azar. I knew that was gonna happen. As I was reading, I was like, there's gonna be a romance here, right? And then it's the attraction to Azar. Okay. As the moment of her betrayal looms, Misha is forced to choose between faith and love, a decision that could lead to her redemption or her ruin. I'm so gonna read this one in March, because so I actually gave one of the other books quite a low rating when I first read it, because I was being really, I don't really know why. I think it was just because when I had read the entire duology, that one, it was the serpent. Is there a list in this one of the other books? Yeah, the Nightborn duet was the other one. The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. And then the 1.5 book of that, like one of it was 6 Scorched Roses, and I've read those 3 books. And this is the first book in the Shadowborn duet. So in these universes, the vampires are Nightborn. They're like families, like Nightborn, Shadowborn, and then I don't remember the last, or house. Like this is the House of Shadow. So Shadowborn are the House of Shadow, the House of Night, the House of Blood was the last one. Yeah. Oh, this is like Christmas. I'm so happy. I don't know. This was like, I don't know when this one just took a hold on me. And if I don't get to it, it's alright, because I own it and I can read it later. That's kind of the perk of owning books. I do love my library, so I will never stop going to the library, and I will keep. My aim is to only buy books that I loved and want to read again, or know that I'm gonna love, because it's like an auto-buy author for me. So, the last one in this card is The Honey Witch. And this is a new to me author, and I had an opportunity to buy this. I think I bought it together with with another book. Because where I buy them, they often have like 3 for 2 or like half price off for the last one and that sort of thing. So I heard a lot about this one on BookTube for a period of time last year, and I was like, that sounds like something for me, even though it's sapphic. And I say that because it depends on the level of sapphicness. I'm not that into smutty sapphic books, but I do love a queer romance, no matter what genders the people are. So I think I will love this one, because I think it's like a cottage core, cozy fantasy kind of vibe. The Honey Witch is cursed to... So, okay. Honey Witch by Sidney J. Shield. First of all. The Honey Witch is cursed to never find true love. But when she meets a woman who doesn't believe in magic, she dares to hope for more. Well, that's counter-intuitive. Anyway. Marigold Claude... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Marigold Claude has always preferred the company of meadow spirits to the suitors who try to woo her. So when her grandmother whisks her away to the tiny isle of Innisfree with an offer to train her as the next Honey Witch, she accepts immediately. But her newfound magic and independence come with a price. No one can fall in love with the Honey Witch. When Lottie Burke, a notoriously grumpy skeptic who doesn't believe in magic, shows up at her doorstep, Marigold can't resist the challenge to prove to her that magic is real, even at the risk of losing her home and her heart. I do love myself a grumpy person in a book. It's one of those things that I kind of hate love. You know, it's like when I think about grumpy love interest or something, I'm like, oh no, not a grumpy one. But I always end up loving it. So yeah. So let's hope. So those are the books on my March TBR, and this is an assortment of books that I hopefully will want to read. And the main reason I have brought this forth and put them in this is because after my surgery I won't be able to reach high, and I won't be able to move stuff around. So I wanted to bring forth the books from my shelves so that I don't have to go like this, and I don't have to ask my partner the whole time for, because I can see myself, or like, if I can't do much, I might read, and I might finish like one book in 2 days or something. And I can see myself like every other day going like, honey, could you please? And I don't want to have to do that. So I picked out like 12 books that I will have on hand. So these are situated on a shelf that I can reach, and I can pick them up. And except for the Songbird and the Heart of Stone, they are the size that I can just sit like this and read here or in my bed or whatever. I don't have to, it's not hard. So if I want to read more Bridgerton in March, I have all of those in my nightstand, like in the drawer. And the other books that have sequels, I have those in my shelves behind like closed doors, like, I don't know, glass doors. I don't know the word for that in English. Behind glass doors, and there are stuff in front of, so that will have to be moved if I want to reach those. But if that happens, I will ask my partner to help me, and it will be like, because I know I want to keep reading, and I will probably then ask him to bring forth all of the books in a series at once, like to Once Upon a Broken Heart. Is that the word? Yeah. Or the daily series, the Indian series, like the Indian whatever series, So yeah, I'm looking forward to March reading. I hope you are too. So have you... So I have Ricochet here. It doesn't really fit. Does it fit? Can I fit? No, it doesn't fit. So have you read any of these? Do you know what the English series, what this series is called in English? Mikael Bergstrand or Mikael Bergstrand, maybe you would say in English. Mikael Bergstrand. Do you know what that series is called? Do you also like feel good as much as I do? So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think, and if there's one book you think I should get to before the other ones, let me know. I will see you in my next video. I will probably make another video before my surgery on the 6th, when I've read at least this and maybe one of the other library books. We'll see. See you in my next video. Happy reading. Xingling.